Okay, so now we're live. Excellent. So this is Skip McLazy. Hi everybody, you guys have seen me around. We are here. I'm doing commentary for the NES Zapper Marathon. I'll let the guys go around and introduce themselves again.
Hi, I'm Carter44.
Hello, I'm Reanus.
Hey, I'm OldschoolMcFly.
And their screens there are kind of, that was in order: top left, top right, bottom left. We're going to be doing 4 games. There's lots of different Zapper games, and these guys represent some of the top leaderboards. I'm actually on there too for just Duck Hunt for myself. And we actually have a NES Zapper Academy. If you're interested in that, reach out to any one of us, and we'll invite you over to that. Lots of fun conversations about old Zapper games. So you will not be hearing them doing any more talking other than, at the end, because what you don't want to be hearing is click, 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 especially when we get to Operation Wolf, where it would literally get a bit insane to your ears. So you get to hear my sweet, sultry voice this whole time. I'll be trying to remember what I can about the games and tell you about the things that they're going for and the strategies and what slows you down and what not. There will be a 30-second cartridge change in between each, and it's basically whoever can get through all 4 of these games first. So, I'm gonna have these guys get to their start screens. Looks like everyone is there, at least on my end. And I'm gonna give us a big 10-second countdown, and we're gonna get started. All right, and in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, and we're off with Hogan's Alley. So this is a kind of a fun, if you think about kind of a shooting gallery style game. You've got 6 different people. If you were watching while I was doing the introduction, you would have seen all 6 of them. There's 3 gangsters, and these gangsters are the kind of red guy in red. There's the guy in blue with the top hat holding the gun. There's the shirtless guy. Those are the guys you want to shoot. Shooting them gives you points, sort of in that order. And they have various different point styles from 5,000 up to 2,000, I believe. And so you want to be able to try, because this is a race to get to 50,000 points. This is game beat up to 50,000 points. The more you shoot the bad guys and not shooting the innocents, the better. But you also have to have the bad guys displayed to you in the right order. A little bit ago, you actually saw on Carter's screen and actually just hear McFly shooting the innocent. That actually slows you down. It does 2 things. One is it actually gives you a little bit of a time loss, but also any silhouettes that you had of guys that you wanted to shoot that would have given you points, they disappear from the screen as well. So you get a point and a time loss there if you actually shoot the wrong. And it's actually difficult because there's a red shirted, clothed bad guy and a red shirt clothed good guy, and same with the policeman in blue and then the gangster in blue. So you can't even go really off of color. You really have to be careful. So they're all kind of doing about the same here. We're looking, looks like Ray might be a little bit in the lead at 28,500. There is a screen coming up the next time we get to that all brick building. That's where you would, if you're on world record pace, that's where you would be ending the next time we get past this sort of white tower thing. But yeah, they're all making good progress. Yeah, shoot the bad guys and don't shoot the innocents. That's basically it. And that's this game, There's another, trick shot mode as well where you're shooting a can around in this game. It's a fun one to pick up. It's actually one of the ones, other than Duck Hunt, that I'd say if you're going to pick up a second Zapper one, as for me, I like this one a lot. Yeah, guys, it looks like they've gotten into a groove. I'm going to jinx somebody now. It looks like they've gotten into a groove. I think they've each had maybe 1 to 2 innocent shots each, but otherwise, it's just been a matter of the RNG of which good or bad guys that they're getting. So actually, we're seeing Carter catching up just a little bit, actually possibly pulling ahead a little bit of Ray, just getting better bad guys. But yeah, and if you were on a PB or trying to go for a world record, when we get to all 4 windows on this brick building, this is where you would want to hit that 50,000. I'm not sure we're going to necessarily have anyone ending on this screen. This is where RNG really comes in mind. Actually, it looks like Ray might be able to end out on this screen, depending upon the people that show up, the silhouettes that show up. Nope, nobody gets to exit there. Looks like Ray's within 500 points, so one more shot and he's going to be able to switch out his cartridge. So there we go. That's 50,000 for Ray. 30-second cartridge change for him, and looks like both Carter and McFly also hopping out as well. So now we're moving into Operation Wolf. This one's a little bit different. This one's a little bit more spammy. What you'll see if you want, you're going to want to pay attention to things along the bottom of the screen, is going to tell you what types of enemies that you need to shoot. Now the RNG comes in and that the order that they spawn in, how they spawn in, where they spawn in, where the things you don't want to shoot spawn in, is all based upon RNG. But you can see there we're pretty close to synced, so there's really not a clear leader going on right now. But yeah, look at the bottom there. If you look, you can see on the far right, if you can see between the screen flickering, you've got the tanks. And those are the gray tanks you can see on actually everyone's screen pulling up right now. You get 5 of those to start. Then you got some helicopters that are going to come in. I think there you see helicopters on the top 2 screens. Actually, all 3 screens now showing the helicopters. And it looks like both McFly and Ray finished off their helicopters early, which is, again, that's just the order that they spawn in. That's just nothing you can do about that. And you've got a large number of just, ground troops you need to shoot as well. There is also something that's, you don't want to just sit there completely spamming, because every time you click the fire button, because of the way that the NES handles its location of the zapper, and that it goes a black frame to a white frame back to a black frame and then back to your picture, you actually lose 3 frames every time you shoot. So you do not want to shoot unnecessarily. Aside from potentially shooting the innocents, I can see the medics carrying stretchers across the screens. You don't want to just spam click, because you end up losing frames that way. Looks like they're all in pretty lock sync. Looks like it's possible McFly has got the possible lead on that. Looks like, yeah, McFly might be the first one out here, followed shortly by Ray and then Carter. So we're still in pretty lockstep here. Actually, no, this is not the end. That's right. We have to do mission 2 as well. Sorry. So we're not all the way through. We're just through that first mission. So now we've got tanks and boats and ground forces as well. And chickens wandering around to block your shots and be annoying. So... yeah, the light gun tech was pretty phenomenal. If you think about what went into creating something like this on a CRT back when the NES was first released. The fact that they can actually, with a light sensor, figure out on the screen where it is that you're pointing at is pretty amazing. And there you can see the little guy in kind of, not army, but he's looked like he's wearing his brown clothing, sprinting across the screen. Who knows why he is, but you don't want to shoot him. You get time lost. You actually lose a... you shoot enough and you lose a life, and that's not good. All the runs that I've seen have been ones where people haven't done that, so I actually don't know offhand what happens if you shoot them. I just know you're not supposed to. This is not a game that I have actually played myself, unfortunately. Haven't found it yet. Oh, we just saw a loss of an innocent. Okay, it looks like, I don't know what exactly happened, but it said no, don't do that on Ray's screen. Looks like we're coming up here with McFly closing out pretty fast. It's like Carter right on his heels, and then Ray just falling a little bit behind, trying to finish out these last infantry guys. Actually, it looks like everyone's finishing just about at the same time. So we got McFly on the first cartridge switch. It looks like followed directly by Carter, and a couple seconds after that, with the fade out, we've got Ray. So still pretty close. It's anyone's game. Still got a lot of RNG to go in Barker Bill's coming up next. This is Barker Bill's trick shooting. This has got a lot of similarity to Duck Hunt in many ways, in that you've got a certain number of bullets and you're trying to shoot different things, but it's got a few different phases that we're actually going to go through. And they all give their RNG in a little different way. The first one is this set of balloons. They're going to fly up, and just like Duck Hunt, you've got 3 bullets, and you have to try and take out the balloons. You don't want to miss, but the balloons will come out in a random order. So that's pretty straightforward. The RNG, here's how fast they come out, how close they get grouped together, etc. But basically, you don't want to miss. Then you got flying saucers. So you've got the main guy, and I think it's Trixie, throwing up the saucers up in the air, and you want to make sure you shoot them, and the direction that they shoot them and the direction that they throw them and where they throw them, can all be varied, and that can be a source of the X. Throw them sideways versus straight up sometimes. Just got to be quick on the draw to take them out as fast as possible. And then there's an annoying little parrot that will get in the way of your bullets and stop you from shooting a plate. After that, we move on to the window panes. There is a speed tech on this one. You can see there's the window panes that the items are falling behind. If they fall where there's no window panes, you can shoot them right away. And actually, you saw McFly, if you were watching closely on the screen, you would have seen him actually get an early window pane, which is shooting the item before it drops down below the window pane. Now, you got to be careful trying to do this because you don't want to waste too many shots and miss an item. But if you can get the items, we're seeing actually everyone going for the early window panes and getting them a couple times. This is where you get the most amount of speed tech and acceleration in this game. It's RNG where they come down and how many times they fall behind that, but if you can early window pane, you'll definitely save some time. Alright, the last one here we've got is, I believe this is, I'm thinking Trixie, but basically she's holding this gal's holding out some coins. You have to shoot the coins and not shoot the girl. Shoot the girls, obviously never recommended. Yeah, you got to shoot the coins, and watch out for the parrot who comes in to try and steal the coins. And the problem here with this one, where the RNG comes from, is that her desire. Whoa, she just got shot. She didn't like that over on Carter's screen, and Carter just shot her again. I wonder if he's getting upset at her. her walking around, but the RNG is how she ends up walking around, how long a time she takes prancing between holding out those coins can be a difference too. So it looks like Old School McFly is in the lead now, going into the cartridge change. We got next Duck Hunt. So again, they got to wait 30 seconds after the end of that one, and we're gonna get everyone. It looks like now we've got Ray into Duck Hunt as well. So we're running Game B, so we're going to get 2 ducks at a time. Game A, if you didn't know, you can hold this. You can use the controller to control the ducks, so we don't have that. So it's maximum RNG. Got to shoot 2 ducks. You've got 3 bullets. Don't miss. A lot of RNG going on with this one even. There's 3 different colors of birds. You have sort of you have the green and the black kind of regular looking bird. Those are worth the least value of points. You have kind of the faded red and black duck that are worth the most points. And then there's the other, I don't know how to describe it, but that's what you want to look for. You want more of the kind of faded red and black. I don't even know if I'm describing the colors correctly, because that's going to give you the most amount of points, is basically it. And then there's a perfect bonus after each round. And both the value of the points does scale as you get into later rounds, and also the value of the ducks goes up as you get into later rounds as well. The points are entirely based upon the color of the bird. As you can see right now, it's 500, 1,000, or 1,500. So you want as many 1,500s as possible. How we have this set up on SRC is you've actually got 3 different categories. You have a 100,000, a 250,000, and then a long 500,000 board. And the 100,000 board, I believe it's in round 5 in order to really get the world record right now. You would need to have the RNG enough to have a high enough bird total and get perfect every time in order to be able to get that done by, I believe it is round 5. I could be mistaken on that. I forget exactly which round it is. For this one, I think it's around round... Well, we'll see. I think it's up into double digits. I think 11 or 12. I don't know. That's where we'll see by the end of this one. I always forget exactly where things tend to go up. But it's definitely insanely progressive as well. Another thing as well that we might see a couple of people going for, it'd be hard to see. You have to look for the flashes on the screen. But there is a thing called early ducking. There's a lot of study that's gone into when and how the ducks spawn. It is completely random. There is a little bit higher chance of the duck spawning on the right side of the board. So kind of little to the right of the grass. But you can actually hit the duck. The duck is in the grass, completely covered by the grass for a few frames after he spawns. And it's exactly something like 40 frames after the dog goes back down, something like that. Between when the next duck comes up, so you can count for a second or two. and then squeeze away in the grass and hope to get a duck before it actually comes out. Now, the problem is if you miss, obviously you're wasting one of your 3 shots. You could be ripping your run for the perspective of trying to get a perfect score, getting that perfect score bonus because you may let a duck fly away. But getting the early ducking is definitely what you would need to do in order to try and go for those world record categories. Something as well also, watch the dog on one of the screens. All right, so if you're looking at one of the screens and you see the different colored ducks, then you look at the dog popping up, holding up the ducks, and you'll notice he's always holding the basic low score ducks. Well, Nintendo, you just kind of shorted us on the sprite animation. There's 1, and there's not 2. They didn't give different colors. Basically, the dog will always pop up in the spot because the last duck fell holding 2 basic birds, which is really unfortunate. It'd be cool if it was more. Looks like we got a flyaway. Oh no, we got a flyaway on Ray's screen. That's going to hurt a little bit trying to stay up. Everyone up to this point, I believe, has been able to get perfect up to this point. So that's going to be it. With round 6, so that's still only going to be a 10,000, but it's still 10,000 points. So he's going to have to hope others will actually make similar mistakes that he can catch up to that. Or he'll have to early duck and hope for lots of really high-valued birds. So if you haven't played Duck Hunt before, maybe even if you have and it's been so long you don't remember, but underneath the little bird icons down at the bottom, there's a little blue progress bar. And if you're wondering, how do you game over in Duck Hunt? Well, the answer is you have to always, if you don't shoot enough ducks such that, like, for example, if you look at the bar on the bottom on the far right, if you miss one, it'll be moved all the way to the right at the end when it's calculating the score. Right now, if you look at, for example, on Ray's screen on the top right, he can miss 4 ducks and still continue. Well, by the time you keep going in the game, that continues to get harder and harder and harder to the point where if you're going for the 500,000 category, you're only allowed to miss 1. If you miss 2, you're out. Yes, so the run ends when they get to 250,000 points. And right now, it looks like we've got kind of a really close race between Carter44. We've had a couple of non-perfects by race, so he's fallen a little bit behind into 3rd place. And then the picture on the bottom right is at 500 points. The picture's not winning, no worries. There's a lot of things, too, if you're ever interested in playing this. One thing you should know, if you ever wanted to speedrun Duck Hunt, you do need to have a CRT. You need to have a setup whereby you are hooking an NES up to a old television, because Zapper guns do not work with modern LED TVs the way that it just doesn't work that way. So you need to have a classic CRT that you can hook it up to, and then you're good to go. Light guns, because of the conversion to LED TVs and non-CRTs, there's a lot of light guns available. You can go to any kind of, if you got a retro game store around you, they guaranteed will have, half dozen to a dozen like Zapper guns. So you can always find them, and the games are always, because of the same problem. If you don't have people collecting these games necessarily, if they're not collecting them, they are available. It looks like we actually are coming up on 250,000 very soon. Between Carter and McFly, either of them could grab it here in the bonus, so this could be time. Oh, and that's time for McFly. He just nabbed it, even without the bonus. And then right after that, it looks like Carter had. I'm not actually sure. I may have a little bit desync. I'm not sure exactly who was able to grab it first. I think it was McFly grabbing the 250,000 first. I think, but that was really close. We'd have to go back to the actual McFly was first. Well, GG McFly. We have to go back to get the actual.
I think it was McFly 2, by the way.
To get the actual time on that, but yeah, we'll let Ray finish out here. He's at 215. He's at 215, so we'll let him finish this stuff out. And I know everyone hates the giggling bird that we're seeing on McFly's screen. Not the giggling dog. On Duck Hunt Versus, you can actually shoot the dog. So if you ever wanted to shoot the dog, you can. He's mad at you. Comes up with crutches and stuff. So.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure.
See if we can get this perfect here. Ray would be within. He'll be within a few more ducks in the next round. He'll be within probably 2 or 3 ducks But GG on that to McFly and also Carter. That was a very close second place. And there's time for Ray. GG's, everybody. That was a very successful little run there.
So on my end, Skip, I have.
So I'm not sure if they're gonna be brought
Skip,
back in to my chat here. If I'm signing off solo, we'll give them a second to see if they are hopping back in here.
Yo, you got me?
Oh my goodness.
I can hear you.
My speaker had turned off.
Okay. I was trying to tell you that I'm pretty sure it was McFly who finished first with 1651 and then Carter with 1652. But yeah, you will have to look at the VOD for that. That was close.
I mean, that was close. I mean, if you guys were perfectly synced, I think OldschoolMcFly, I think you took it. But like, if there was a possibility. I mean, it was photo finish. It was photo.
Awesome.
Photo
that
finish
was definitely
for sure.
photo finish. I'm gonna get some music going on. 1 second. All right, let's get some
Yeah, we
music
can bring
going
Carter
on.
in here now as well. But what you guys were listening to me, hopefully I wasn't messing up the explanations too badly.
Oh,
that goes a lot more. That goes a lot more quick than you expect it to when you're kind of watching it on your own.
Mhm.
That was close.
That's awesome. I wouldn't want it any other way.
That's just how I wanted it. Nice and close.
Nice and close. Seriously, it's like a second away. Crazy
Well,
for
you
4
guys
different
talk.
games.
While you guys talk, I'll figure out who actually finished first.
All right.
Okay, appreciate that.
No, it was
Yes.
McFly. I watched the.
Okay.
I watched it back. It was McFly. But that was great.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's
good
that was
job,
really
guys.
cool.
That's definitely good job, everybody. That was sweet.
Great
I'm glad
job.
I got to make it home.
So I mean, yeah, I'm glad you're able to actually make it in. There was some questions on the timing and scheduling. I'm glad you're able to make it. It's a lot more fun as a 3-person race for sure.
Oh, definitely. That was awesome.
But
Unfortunately,
yeah,
you talk. Not interrupting
what's that,
you,
George?
Skip. You talk. Not interrupting you.
Oh, no, I was just saying, if anyone wants to know about the Zapper Academy, you can actually reach out to all 4 of us in Rogue HQ. We're all in there. We'll shoot you over a link to that, and hopefully more of you want to do some light gun stuff. We've actually talked about doing a light gun marathon where you actually have to do something exactly like this, and actually doing a tournament of that style. So hopefully we can get something like that going soon. It'd be really fun.
Oh, indeed. It's a lot of fun, definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
Well, and the cool thing is there's so many Zapper games. The ones we showcased here are really the ones that have pretty heavy RNG. There are some that if you're very anti-RNG, which I don't know why you'd be watching this if marathon if you were, but there are some that it is rote memorization, like Wild Gunman. If you memorize the 7 patterns in the sequence it comes up, you can almost shoot them as they're emerging from the saloon. So there's all sorts of Zapper games for whatever your fancy is.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, thanks everyone. We'll see you guys all around, and good luck everyone else in the rest of the marathon. I forget what's coming up next. Oh, next Carter, we got more light gun stuff.
Carter
Yeah.
to the earth.
You're doing a ridiculously game I don't even understand, honestly. So good luck with that.
Carter, is your mic fixed now, by the way?
Hardest game ever.